Hello, everybody. My name is Zexel, and I'm a new BDO content creator. So you may not have heard me before, but I am newer to the scene. I stream on Twitch, and this is kind of going to be my first video on Black Desert Online, kind of as a whole. You know, there has been a very large amount of differing opinions between quite a large amount of people, especially recently, like with grind spots coming out and PvP and things like that. Um, and I do talk about these topics quite often on my Twitch channel as well. So I will be leaving a link in the description to my Twitch as well as my Discord if you do want to kind of keep up there and want to follow me on that as well, which would be greatly appreciated. But kind of to start things off, I kind of just want to talk about kind of the state of the game as a whole before we kind of get into specific things, right? BDO as a whole right now, it's in a better state, in my opinion, than it has been in quite a while. I would say the biggest thing is they changed a lot of how the game mechanics work, especially with PvE. So as a lot of players who have played the game for a long time, such as myself, they changed the AP caps in the game, right? And how AP caps work. And kind of just to briefly go into that, before this change, you could theoretically grind kind of anywhere you wanted. And you could make decent money if you had good gear. A prime example of this is if you were, say, 340 AP. You could go grind lower Gyphon, have a chill grind, make decent money, power level a friend, and you really wouldn't have to worry about anything, right? That isn't the case anymore. Somebody like myself who is 380 AP, if I even think about grinding Gyphon, it's going to feel like I'm grinding there with extremely less gear now. Now, I understand why they did this. They don't want high-level players to be spending all of their time in lower grind zones. But this does take away a lot of the content that some players that may have a lot of gear enjoy, and min-maxing certain spots because it's just what was fun for them, and those players can't do that anymore, which is a shame, and then now you also have these gaps where when you hit that AP cap, you want to hit the minimum AP requirement to grind the next spot, but you're kind of sitting in limbo between like a very interesting state of progression where you're not making any more money because you've hit the gear cap for that spot, and your gains aren't still making you more money because you haven't reached any more AP to grind the next spot or to get more money at your current spot because you've already hit the AP cap. It was a very interesting change, and I think a lot of people are very hit or miss on it. And I think it really changed the way the game in the PvE scene kind of looks like as a whole now. And some people enjoyed it, and some people are half and half on it, So with that being said, kind of going into our first major topic here is PvE kind of progression as a whole, right? I think the way that PA currently is having you go through progression in the game is absolutely fucking horrible. I don't care what anybody says. It's terrible. Once you hit a point in the game, you, especially with Adania, you hit this plateau where the only reason you're theoretically grinding is for cron stones. And it's been like that for a very long time. Now they've kind of made it even worse. They're requiring time-gated stuff for DP, which I understand in a way why. But you have that, right? Now you have to grind even for a PvE player who only PvEs. Say they use 2 Lightstone sets and they have all of their Karazats. They have to grind over 1,000 end times to even like progress. 1,000. On average, you're getting probably 6 to 7, maybe more like 5 to 7 on the low end. Like it's just the casual player will not achieve that. Like they just won't. That's gonna take hundreds of hours of grinding. And then you have the new reform stones, which take 200 of another resource that you can only get from these last 2 grind spots. And then after you're doing that, guess what you're back to doing? You're grinding for cron stones the entire time, and it doesn't feel worth it. Especially right now. There are so many people that I know that I've been friends with for a very long time who have played BDO for a long time, and they've stopped playing completely because the lack of just enjoyable progression. And I'll kind of talk about enjoyable progression a bit more here in a second, but like when you get gains now, it doesn't feel rewarding anymore. It's more of like a, God, I'm so thankful that's over now, right? You have these people who are grinding 2 to 3 hours a day, and it's taking them months to even get a single upgrade now. I mean, deck Karazads are almost 11 bill a tap. The average player probably makes 11 bill maybe every week if they're grinding 1 to 2 hours a day, you know, maybe even longer, right? Like the PvE progression system right now, it's not very rewarding at all. And there's no more, you know, like super, oh my God moments anymore. It's more of just like, thank fuck. Like, it's over. I don't have to do that anymore, you know? And I think that all went away when the Debo era stopped. Tapping Debos was some of the most fun I ever had. It was such a big upgrade, and if that goes, it was so fucking awesome. Like, you were so excited to get a Debo. And you don't have that anymore. With really, not really anything. The only excitement you really have now out of enhancing is when you get that lucky, like, 1 tap, and you're just like, oh my God, like, holy shit, it went on 1 tap. Like, but even then, the percentages are so low, like, it's hard to even get that anymore. But let me not really ramble about that and kind of talk about what I mentioned earlier about enjoyable progression. So what I mean by this is a lot of people who have played the game for a long time will relate to me on this. And it kind of goes hand in hand with the current grind spots kind of being too easy. And I'll touch on that as well. But back when you were enhancing, you know, like even during Karazad, when they were coming out even, or even just Sovereign alone, there were times where players genuinely needed to get gear to grind certain areas. Like, you couldn't go to Tungrad Ruins, you couldn't go to Dekia Ash or DSR, because you would just get fucking exploded by the enemies. You would die instantly. We need more of that. Like, we don't have that anymore. Like, I remember when I first started playing the game and I saw Ash Forest and I was like, that place looks awesome. I want to grind there. And I remember the first time going there when I thought I had the required gear, and I got my ass handed to me, and I was like, nope, I can't do that. I need more gear, right? And that was a lot of fun, you know, having that, you know, experience, and getting progression and getting gains felt so rewarding, because now you were like, holy shit, I just got Pendebo Neck. I have 6 more AP now. I'm going to be able to go grind this grind spot I haven't been able to do yet. And you were so excited and so happy to be able to do that. I want all of you who are watching this video to comment when the last time you had that feeling was. Because I bet you it hasn't been within the last year. It was probably before Kherazades came out, maybe right around the time Sovereigns came out, because it's been a very long time for me. And I absolutely love this game, and I have played it for a very long time. And I miss those moments. I miss those insanely high dopamine rush moments, you know? And that kind of goes into what I was saying with the grind spots being too easy. Me personally, I am nowhere near the gear requirement to go, like, do Lava Frogs or Zephyros Castle, as people call it, as Lava Frogs, right? But I can go grind it. Now, that's not just me. That's a lot of people. If you can grind Orbita, you can grind the 2 new spots because they are easier than Orbita. Why do you think they nerfed Orbita to the ground and got rid of a bunch of mechanics? Because it was too difficult. And it's still the hardest grind spot in all of Adania Part 1 right now. If you can grind that, you can grind the 2 new spots that have come out in Part 1.5. Can't do it efficiently, but you can grind it. I can go grind Lava Frogs at nighttime easier than I can grind Orbita at nighttime. How does this make any sense? And this isn't just because I may be playing Awakening Witch at this time. I can go do it on my Awakening Nova. I can go do it on Awakening Meiwa. There are other people I know that can go grind the spot on even lesser powerful classes, like Succession Nova, for example. Why is this happening? Like, why am I able to grind these spots? It's not rewarding anymore. If I wasn't able to grind Zephyros because I was dying constantly, I just couldn't grind it physically, like it was impossible, I would feel so much more motivated to grind these new grind spots, you know? But it's not motivating at all. It's just, I have to get these AP requirements to grind there. I can grind there now, but it's not efficient. But if I don't want to waste my time grinding there, then I have to go grind somewhere else because I don't have the gear, right? I don't understand why we're not going back to kind of how Dechia Ash was, or even Dechia Cyclops, where they would fuck you up and you would die constantly if you didn't have the right gear, right? Sometimes you could, you know, kind of overpower it and min-max it and try to do it, and that was fun to some people. But you can't do that anymore. There's no sitting there and powering through it because you're just not going to make money, right? So really, we need more rewarding progression. We need a reason to grind besides just Cronstones, right? Like, because in the end, that's really all there is just Cronstones, right? Now, I do want to touch up on another topic here, right? And that being the fact that where are our PvP events at? Where's Guild League? Where's Hardcore? Where's ranked AOS at? Right? We haven't heard anything about any of these at all. Hardcore disappeared without a single word. I thought Hardcore was really fun, personally. I thought Guild League was a lot of fun. Ranked AOS is a lot of fun. It gives people a want to do PvP, especially ranked AOS. People who can't do the gear, people who don't have the gear to compete with these gear cap players can go play ranked AOS and compete and show their skill level. But where is it? Like, where are these PvP modes that the PvP players want to be able to do? And we haven't heard anything. Let alone they mentioned this big all best in class tournament for every class at the Heidel Ball. We haven't heard anything about that. Not a single thing. Not sign up, not, you know, how that's going to work. Ever since the Heidel Ball, we haven't heard it at all. You know, like, and I feel bad for the PvP players right now because there really isn't anything to do besides I mean, we have an RBF event right now. That's cool, I guess, but RBF has been a thing forever. We don't have these other fun PvP modes. As soon as this RBF event ends, guess what's gonna happen to RBF? It's gonna be gone. Like, it's gonna be dead. No one's gonna play RBF. Like, it's not gonna be something people are just gonna be like, oh my god, let's go do RBF. It's just not gonna happen. That's pretty much all I have to say about PvP. I'm not a big PvPer myself. I do like to occasionally PvP, but that's just how it is. Now, the biggest topic right now that a lot of people have been talking about is pay to win and how grinding in the game is simply a waste of your time. Based off of a lot of sources that I have researched and a lot of other content creators that I have talked to and have seen a lot of people kind of make videos about, the pay to win is the best way to play the game. If you're grinding and you convert the amount of silver per hour that you are making, and then you do the math and convert that into, say, the price it costs in pearls to get that amount of silver, whether it be by cron stones or just selling an outfit on the market. In both avenues, you're making like $7 an hour, right? $7 an hour is what you're grinding. $7, right? If you could grind IRL, get some money, spend it on BDO, and you could save yourself 50 to 100 hours of grinding because you're only making $7 an hour in game grinding silver, right? That doesn't feel rewarding to me. Why am I grinding when I am only making the equivalent of $7 an hour in silver compared to spending $20 in BDO for outfits to get cron stones, and all of a sudden I've saved so much time? Why do you think people are stopping? Why do you think people aren't playing the game anymore? Because it's not rewarding. You're grinding monotonously over and over again for minimal income, and you're just not making any gains. This needs to change. I don't think we need to make 10 billion silver an hour. That's not what I'm saying. But we definitely need more. We need to make more. Like 6 to 7 billion even. Especially with how once you get to the uber endgame of BDO and you're grinding for deck and Nov, even Oct Sovereign, your upgrades are going anywhere from 250 billion silver for one upgrade upwards to 2 trillion silver. The average player who grinds 1 to 2 hours a day when they get off work and they want to relax for a bit will never achieve these. Ever. Not a single one of them. Not without paying to win. We need this to change in some way or form because it simply isn't going to work anymore. As somebody who grinds a shit ton in this game on stream all the time and off stream, to be able to make content and, you know, entertain people on stream as well, it doesn't feel rewarding to me. I love the game and I'm not gonna stop playing because of this, but a lot of people are stopping and uninstalling the game because they don't They don't want to deal with that anymore. And it's sad. It genuinely is sad. This game is so good in the amount of potential it has. It's got so much potential. I mean, it's a beautiful game. It's got so much content, but a lot of that content just gets pushed to the side because no one does it anymore. Right? And the future of BDO, you know, kind of as a whole, I don't know what to think right now. Adania Part 2 supposedly is right around the corner. Calpheon Ball. Savior possibly coming out soon. Like, why did they even tease Savior with Wukong? Like, I don't even know why they did that in the first place. It just doesn't make any sense to me what their marketing, like, idea was there. Like, I'm very worried but excited at the same time for the future of BDO. There's a lot of things that we have been told in the past that have never came to the game. Like dying, or not dying, but changing the glow of Black Star weapons. Or Mountain of Eternal Winter Part 2. The 100 floor dungeon. Dekia, Miramuk, and Upper Gyfin. What happened to these ideas? I know so many people that were excited for those Dekia spots and Mountain of Eternal Winter Part 2, right? But they never happened. They were mentioned one time, and then boom, they were gone. I mean, why does this happen? I don't understand. Why does this happen, right? Like, it needs to change, genuinely, and we need something else. We need a positive fix, and I'm really hoping that positive fix happens, because it's sad the way that people are just drifting away. You know, it really is. Now, is playing a game as a new player worth it right now? Yeah. I think if you're a new player, I think you're going to have a lot of fun with the game. There's a lot of stuff to do. Playing as a new player, getting gains does feel rewarding. And there's a lot of content for you to explore and try out, like PvP, life skilling, and, you know, just grinding in general, testing out new classes, finding your niche, what you enjoy. Being a new player could be a lot of fun, you know? As a returning player, I don't know anymore. I get a lot of people who come to my chat and they ask me, hey, how is the state of the game right now? Is it worth coming back? Is it worth playing as kind of a returning player around X gear score? And I want to say yes to all of them, but genuinely I don't, because I typically ask those players, why did you leave the game originally? You want to know what their answer is? Well, you guessed it. It's the Cronstone grind, or it's the lack of content, or the lack of group content. Where's our group content? Like, it's an MMO. Let's do group content. Where is that at? Like, group content could be a whole other video of its own, right? But we need more, especially group content. But as a returning player, it depends on why you quit. If you quit because the Cronstone grind and progression didn't feel rewarding, then maybe don't come back. And I hate to say that, because I shouldn't have to, but it's the reality of it, and that's just how it is, right? But overall, I mean, is it worth playing BDO right now in the state that it is in 2025? I think it is worth to play it if you are willing to deal with the flaws that the game has, and if you enjoy it. If you're a new player, have fun with the game. Don't let other people, you know, try to dictate your opinion of the game. If you do enjoy it, okay? This is my opinion on the game right now, as a player who has played it for a long time, and as somebody who is new to the content creator scene as well. So to all the other content creators out there that this video may reach, I really encourage you to make something similar. You know, take points off what I've said. You know, make your own opinions and your own ideas, and voice your opinion. We need more people to voice their opinion. I may be a small content creator, but that doesn't, you know, scare me from voicing my opinion to the people that this may reach. Okay? Overall, that's pretty much everything that I have to say. I love the game, but unfortunately the game is kind of going in a pretty wrong direction right now. And I'm worried, but I'm excited because of the possibilities that we may have. So yeah. I really appreciate it if you watched through this whole thing. If you did enjoy the content, please come to my Twitch channel, join my Discord, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below and let me know what you think and if you want to see more things like this. But that's it for me today. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Peace.